Okay, hello everybody. I am going to mute you guys. Definitely you can type in any questions or can you hear me now? Yes, okay, good. All right, so first of all, thank you everybody for joining today. I had planned starting today to lead an 8-week session once a week to tackle 8 specific important things for the road to recovery of our practices. However, there are so many developments happening and so many emails and texts that I keep receiving with a lot of questions because of some of these developments that we will not be starting these road to recovery sessions until the following week. For example, for next week, we have scheduled to have with us the director of the government affairs of the American Physical Therapy Association to specifically discuss what is happening with Medicare and what APTA has done and is planning to be doing for Medicare in the next several weeks. So, but the most important thing and the first thing I promised to a lot of people that I am going to talk about today is the big announcement that you saw in a lot of media earlier this morning, that the PPP funds have been depleted. So the $349 billion have been depleted. Yesterday, just so I can give you a little bit of the history of this, yesterday, at some point yesterday afternoon, they announced that they had reached at $318 billion, and apparently by later last night they processed some additional loans and then the funds have been depleted at this point. So let me just discuss with you what does this mean and what you may be able to anticipate happening right now. First of all, let me ask any one of you who may have received funding, just write yes if you have already money in your account from PPP. Just type the word yes right now if you have already money in your account. All right, so okay, so there are for one of our companies, we have been funded already too. So now just type the word APP like this. I'm going to write it for you. If you have submitted an application, just type the words APP. Okay, so everybody else has pretty much submitted APP for the company. Yes, for one company. I understand. Now, if any of you have received to sign something electronically through DocuSign, just write the word DocuSign or Docu, whatever, or Doc. Okay. And I'll tell you why I am asking you to do this. So, SBA announced that the funds have been depleted and they cannot commit to any new funds that they have not already approved. So approved does not necessarily mean released to you. So let's look at the process, the stages, okay? Most people have gone to larger banks, and in these larger banks, they went and they submitted some online application. Some smaller banks submitted directly the SBA application. Now, the bigger banks, when they received your application, they put it in a document, and they gave you then to actually, they may have requested additional information, you may have submitted that additional information, but then at some point they gave you a DocuSign to just sign off. Okay. And then what would happen usually, approximately 5 days after you sign that DocuSign, you get funded. As far as I have talked to different people, it has taken about an average of 10 days from the moment an application was filed for a PPP until the date of funding, depending on the financial institution. So now, again, this is my understanding that I'm going to give you right now. Here is my understanding. If you have just completed the original information with the bank or with the financial institution without having signed already the final DocuSign papers, then I believe that you are out of luck. My understanding is that the moment they accept your DocuSign final paper, that they have already reserved the money for you, and then you should be okay. Okay. So depending on what stage you are in the process, it is very possible that despite the fact the money has been depleted, that is already reserved money for you from your financial institution. If you have a banker that you can directly talk to, call them up and ask them that question and see how they will respond. Our applications have been submitted actually with Citibank. That's why we were a little late in the game. But in a daily basis, I was keeping up with them, asking them what's going on, at what stage of the funding are we, what's going on, again and again and again. Every single day I would bother them. As I said, we got funded in one of the companies, and that's nice. We have signed the DocuSigns for all the other companies. So it is my belief that because we got to the stage where we signed that final application, that we should be okay. But again, you guys have to try to communicate with them, with your financial institution for information. Today at 3 p.m., in 2 hours from now, 3 p.m. Eastern, there will be a meeting by the Senate, and the Senate is supposed to approve an additional $250 billion if the Congress first approves these $250 billion. The two sides right now, they are in negotiations. They have some differences in regards to the areas of distribution of these funds and what is included and what is not included, and if there will be selective type of practices that they will fund versus all businesses. But anyway, yeah, I understand that you wrote to Senator Schumer. At this point, here is my viewpoint, and again, I will not be partisan, but I will definitely be political, and this is what I'm telling you. I don't care if you have a Republican senator or a Democrat senator. Every single freaking business has to be funded right now. Every single small business, which is the breadth and depth of this country, must be funded. There is already indications that small businesses, 20% of small businesses, unless they get funded, they will have to shut down shop. As a matter of fact, I have non-stop text messages since this morning from colleagues, physical therapists who have been very disappointed with this whole development today, and they are writing to me that they will have to shut down. I mean, people tell me game over in a month from now if they don't get funded. So yes, I'm telling you, let's wait until 3 p.m. today, and let's check any information in the news at 3 p.m. where the Senate is supposed to meet for this very reason, to see if there is any positive development. Otherwise, let me tell you, just raise hell in every single senator and every single congressperson that you have in your district, regardless of their party. Okay, this is not a partisan issue. This is a national issue. So I know Capital One doesn't even have applications open. I know that. But here is how it goes, guys. So if you ask me what the chances, what do I believe that the chances are that they will approve another $250 billion, in my viewpoint, the chances are greater than 90%. I know that you remember, and they know and they remember very well, that this year, in November, we have elections. So, so they will have to fund it. But I'm telling you, the moment at the moment they open up the cannula again for funds, just make sure your applications are in right away. But I want to give you some additional information for some other money-related things, and then you guys can ask any questions you may have. Okay, I am going to share my screen, and I am going to share with you not Facebook, but I'm going to share with you savephysicaltherapy.com resources page. Okay, this is the main page, but you go to resources, and here is what I want to talk to you about resources. If you guys have received your HHS money, good for you, you got the money. There are some people who have not received their money yet. To find out how much money you will be receiving and when, you can call this number, give them your tax ID number, and press option 1 when you call this number. Press option 1, give them your tax ID number or social if you do business under your social, and they will tell you the approximate amount that will be released as funds to you in your account. It seems the information I have is that the rest of the funding will be going in this coming Friday. So they went from the one Friday to the other Friday. Okay, so that is information about HHS. Let me see, somebody's chatting. Okay, Cindy Johnson has, she has good news, and I'm going to talk about the EIDL too. She received both her PPP and her $10,000 EIDL by her bank. She says, that's Cindy. Cindy, this is very well done. That's awesome. You know, I'm available to work for a W-2 right here for the next for the next 8 weeks, if you like. I'm just kidding. All right, we gotta make some fun, guys. Amazing, what's going on? All right. So, what is your bank, Cindy? Just type the name of your bank, please, to everyone. All right, the second thing I want to let you know is that your SBA loan, if you have made an application for SBA, the EIDL, in other words, the EIDL loan, okay, it can take up to 3 weeks from the time of your application. Actually, Cindy, since you got that, can you tell us when did you apply for your EIDL?
Is such a blur. It was March, and it was before the Friday of the PPP, so probably the week before that, what we thought was the original PPP deadline Friday.
Okay.
So around in there.
Good, 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 good. Now, here is the thing. The information I got is the following. If you applied for an EIDL loan prior to March 30th, and you have not received funds yet, you must reapply. Okay, something happened in their system on March 30th that some applications were erased from their system. So they do not know which applications got erased and which did not. So if you applied after March 30th, then, you know, there are about 3 weeks. You should be just about receiving money right now. We applied on the 3rd, actually, of April. So I am hopeful that we'll get our EIDL on tomorrow or on Monday. Now, there was an announcement by SBA that said that although originally a $10,000 advance was given or promised to be given, as a flat amount. Now they say that this amount of $10,000 will be given in its entirety if you declared in your application that you have 10 or more employees. And now they will be proportioning the money based on the number of employees you have. In other words, if you have less than 10, if you have 9, you're going to get $9,000. If you have 1 employee, you're going to get $1,000. If you have 20 employees, you'll still get $10,000. And also, I regret to tell you that SBA now stopped accepting new EIDL applications. So right now, today, for example, you cannot apply for PPP and you cannot apply for EIDL. Both of these are out of the picture right now. Okay, right this moment at least. Now, there are 2 additional opportunities for funding. If you are doing telehealth, there is a telehealth grant that you could apply to. And if you go to the resources site and you click here, you can follow the steps. Now, I advise you strongly, when you follow these steps, have next to you a dictionary, because it's so complicated that I started it yesterday and I have not finished it yet. I was supposed to finish it today, but I've been bombarded since this morning with calls. So I'm going to finish it later tonight. So it's a very long process. You have to do steps. You have to go to apply first, get that special number, then to log in that number, get some, it's a very, very tedious process, but it is a grant. It is a $200 million grant. So you may be able, if you are doing tele-PT, telehealth, to get some money from that. And finally, the final loan opportunity that I can talk to you about, which is still available, it is what is called the Main Street Federal Reserve loans. Now, again, if you go to the website here, you can click and it will get you to read more about it. So what happens with the Main Street? The Main Street, the minimum loan you can get is $1 million. So if you cannot, in other words, if you cannot qualify for $1 million loan, you're not going to get it. The interest rate will be even lower than that of SBA. The interest rate will be very, very low. It will be like something like 1 to 2%. And it has to be repaid over 4 years. The qualification for that is that your company's EBITDA, okay, earnings before inflation, depreciation, appreciation, your company's EBITDA, the way I calculated it, it has to be somewhere around $250,000 for the year 2019. Why? Because they will take the EBITDA, they will multiply it by 4, and they will give you that amount. If you're because the minimum they can loan is $1 million, you have to have an EBITDA of $250,000 times 4 to make $1 million. Okay, and from what I understand, with that program, there are some good opportunities because it's less stricter. It's not as strict as how the funds will be used. Okay, so yes, so companies that can do that will have some degree of advantage there. So, and I mean, from SBA, there are other loans. I mean, there is a bridge loan. Let me see if I have SBA here still. I have SBA. Okay, so we said from SBA now, right? This is not federal, this is SBA. The PPP is out of the picture right now, at least. We'll find out at 3 o'clock if anything happens. EIDL is out of the picture right now. There is this express bridge loan, but you have to have already a relationship with a lender, and it's only $25,000. And the SBA debt relief, which is SBA will help to pay interest rate for you for a few months of any type of loan, business loan that you have. So that's basically the story. So, so guys, any questions that you have, either unmute yourselves and ask the question, or just type the question, or anything like that, anything you like. But this is the story today. This is what's happening today. Any questions from anyone? Okay, so Dmitry, what's your question? Did anyone from New York receive a stimulus check? So you're asking if anyone from New York received a stimulus check. I have to tell you that yes, although I can't dig anywhere in my personal account a stimulus check, I know that many of my employees got a stimulus check. I don't expect to get one, let's put it this way. Okay, Andrea got yesterday. So if we got email from the bank that says approved for PPP, but we have not gotten check and says we'll get in 3 days, do we know if we still get it? As I explained earlier, and again, this is my own opinion, right? The PPP process starts with an application, with information that you feed the bank. The information, the bank creates an application. They send you maybe they request additional information or not, and then you sign a DocuSign document, okay? And then after the signed document, you might or might not get what is called an offer, and finally you get funded, okay? Now, it is my belief that if you got to sign the final DocuSign document, these funds have been reserved for you. Okay, so SBA does not say, I will not fund approved loans. They say, I will not accept new applications for loans. Okay, so my understanding is that if you got to sign your final DocuSign document, that you should be able to get the money without having to wait for the Congress and Senate to approve additional money. There is a question from Cindy Johnson. She got the EIDL money, the $10,000 advance, how she can spend it. You cannot spend this $10,000 for the same reasons or the same things that you're spending your PPP money. So you have to be a bit smart on this, on how you can use it. They say in the beginning of the sentence there that it can be used for COVID-19 related purposes, and then they say, or COVID-19 losses. Okay, so they mention that losses also. So I would say that anything that will help you to mitigate losses and improve your practice in the future, that would be a good way to spend it. us in our business, we will be spending quite a bit of this EIDL for training programs for our employees. And that is what, for the most part, what we will be doing with this advance of $10,000. Cindy, you're more than welcome to come and join Hats, girl. It's only half of that. So anyway, let me just put down the next question. If you get PPP loan in your account, let's say April 20th, do you have to hire employees back right away, or do you have until June 30th? Also, if you're on unemployment, do you have to get off the day these loans get delivered into your account? So look, if you got the PPP, you cannot double dip. You cannot be in unemployment and at the same time get the PPP money. So yeah, you gotta get off unemployment so that you can use the PPP money if that money was for you. Oh, I need to talk to you about K1s for a moment. Let me write it down, remember it. Okay. So do you have until June 30th? We have not seen yet any application for forgiveness. We haven't seen any bank release their application for forgiveness as of yet. So we don't know what information specifically they will be asking for forgiveness and what documentation they will require from you. We have an idea based on the original application document, and that original, even the clarification they sent afterwards, indicated as June 30th, the last day that you can have rehired the same number of employees so that the forgiveness can take place. Okay, let me see what else. Christina did Chase, and she got and then she got her money. That is awesome, Christina. That's fantastic. How do we specifically calculate and compare the full-time equivalent numbers? It is the average full-time equivalent over the 8 weeks or snapshot. Okay, so you will have to take into account your full-time equivalents on the payroll on June 30th. You're going to see that day, that last payroll that includes June 30th. What are the full-time equivalents at that day? And you have to compare them with the full-time equivalents that was put in your application, right? Because that is what they have to go by. They have to go by the papers you gave for your application and the numbers that you got approved in the application. Chase said money will be put in account 3 days, but didn't have anything to sign from DocuSign. You got the answer from Christina. Chase has a different process. So if we applied for EIDL advance before 3/30, March 30th, we can still reapply even though the EIDL advances is not taking new applications? No, you can't, unfortunately, right now you can't. This week we got auto deposits from Medicare. Don't confuse those with PPP. That is separate, of course. Tim is asking us to join the SSI Client Nation. Yes, Tim, that is a fantastic group. Please put the link in there. And also, in a few minutes, I'll ask you to talk a little bit about the training you're offering this weekend, because I think this is fantastic training, and definitely some of the EIDL money can be used for training like that. Okay, so what about K1? So if you have an LLC, a limited liability company, or a PLLC, a professional limited liability company, the understanding was that, okay, since you are getting a K1 from that, you are going to apply independently as an independent contractor with that K1. Okay, now clarification that came in this morning says that you take this K1 and you add it to the W-2 of your employees and you request the amount 2.5 times that amount, so that you get the money under the company and not independently as an independent contractor. That is the clarification we got this morning. I know we couldn't use 1099 employees in our PPP, but can we use them to count towards the 70% payroll cost if we do get the loan? No, you cannot. It's only the money that you, only W-2 money. So actually, you guys know, let me show it again here. You can always contact Bob Kowalik to give you guys this. Here is his information. He can give you this special calculation that he makes. You submit a whole bunch of numbers, and pretty much he helps you to see how much money you have to bridge in between, how you can start bringing employees slowly into the process. It's a pretty good sheet, Excel spreadsheet. So let me see if there is anything else here. Also, I must absolutely remind everyone that, let me go here, next Tuesday, April 21st, we have this amazing webinar on 5 mitigation strategies for your physical therapy private practice right now. These are things that you must apply right away. So please go ahead and register here for this event. Of course, I can copy the actual registration and I can put it on the chat right now, so you guys can go directly from the chat, oops, and register there. All right, let me see. There you go. I'm registered, sharing that. Are there any questions still in regards to the loan or PPP? How have been people receive the IDL? We answered that. I have people watching all the way from Greece. Hello to everybody. It's Holy Week in Greece actually right now. So good to see all of them. All right, so I would like to ask real quick if, Tim, briefly, can you tell us about the training you have this weekend? And I'll talk to you about CMS. I'll talk to you about CMS in a moment. You can unmute yourself, Tim. Tim, you got it. There you go.
Thanks, Dimi. And, thanks for all you're doing on these continued meetings, incredibly invaluable. Thanks for PT for Heroes. Guys are going crazy on that. We're getting on incredible press. I had a press book, which is clippings of every media outlet so far. And I just, Googled it, and Dimi, I was sharing it with Dimi. We got like 10 amazing press releases and other coverage. And then your site gets updated constantly with all the video. It's amazing. You got to go to PT for Heroes and look at it every day because it changes. So I work at Survival Strategies. We're a training and consulting company, and we just look at, well, what are the basics that you guys need to use each and every day to get through this period of time, but more importantly, to come out the other side doing better than you were when you went in, and certainly planning for the future. So training is a part of a lot of people's strategies when they get funded. I'm talking about this weekend is just for clients that have already participated in certain programs with us. Next weekend, the 25th, is 8 hours. It's myself and Paul Savlosky, pretty well-known therapist out in the Midwest. But we're going to spend 8 hours just covering the basics. It's $199. It's pearls for peanuts. But I'll put the link up there for it. It's really simple. You just register, show up. You get a book. It's like a physician's desk reference. Demi knows. He wrote one of the chapters, and we have 17 other therapists that contributed to that book. But it's incredibly valuable because it's the basics. It's what do we need to have in place each and every day? If we can work on some of that regularly, we're going to be ahead of the game. So I put the link there, you guys. You can check it out. And again, it's our Facebook page. Our group is called SSI Client Nation. Just go join it. You'll see what's there. You'll see it's a resource if we get more people, sharing and stealing ideas and that sort of thing. There's a lot on there. So take a look at it and continue to learn.
Thank you, Tim. That's awesome. Guys, first of all, thank you so much, all of you, for joining the PT for Heroes. It's pretty amazing the feedback we are getting from everyone. You can see that we get constantly more and more people joining, and now we have, oh my God, we got more. We get stories from all of you sharing things, and please keep sharing. That's really awesome. Or writing success stories from your patients and participating in the program. And we have so many practices right now. So if you are not part of PT for Heroes yet, wow, look at this. Please get in here. You don't have to have a logo. You don't have to, you can be an independent therapist and still join. You don't have to put a logo here. It's not mandatory. Just put your information. We'll create a little card for you. Don't worry about it. So let me see on the chat. I'll talk about Medicare. Give me a second. All right. How many practices have treated heroes already? We have to find this out. We have to find out how many practices have done already. I know at least of 4 or 5 specific situations, but we'll find out more about that. This is definitely a great thing, and the more it gets disseminated, the more of these more requests we're going to get. All right, so yeah, Leslie has, Christina have, we have. So okay, so these are more than I know. That is fantastic. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about the Medicare thing. Gosh, let me see. Should I share this thing? Let me share this, and somebody's gonna kill me, but I will share it. This is an internal document. It's for our practice only. All right, this is just for us, but I'm gonna share it. So here is our strategy. Okay, I'm sharing our strategy right now. Therapist calls physical therapist, not the PTA, not an aide, not the front desk. The therapist calls the Medicare patient and discusses their case and how the patient is doing. The patient determines, that can be a phone call. If the patient needs, the physical therapist determines after conversing with the patient, if the patient needs e-visit services. The physical therapist stays with patient on the phone at least 5 minutes and documents that they talk to the patient. It can be just a phone call. The billing department can bill this code. I know why you guys are screaming right now. You are screaming because you say, hey, it has to be initiated by the patient. Okay, so here is a clarification we got from Mary Dowlong the other night on the tele-PT, telehealth, e-service, e-visit webinar. She specifically said that, although this is a CMS rule, This rule, as well as the HIPAA compliance rule, both of these are being relaxed for the period of time that we are dealing with the COVID-19 situation. All right, so then that is step one, we tell them to do. Step two, option A, e-visit only. The therapist schedules patient for an e-visit. Visit lasts greater than 21 minutes. The physical therapist documents in the notes that what they did with the patient. You can see this patient again after 7 days and not earlier than that. The billing code G2063. I'm getting a question. Let me answer it. Of course, we tell the patient that we bill for the phone call. Absolutely. Of course, that communication has to happen. All right. Now let me show you option B. Step two, but option B. This is option B. Therapist schedules patient for an e-visit. Again, it lasts 21 minutes. They do everything. The billing happens. But now you have agreed with the patient that they will receive another 1, 2, 3, whatever, paid visits during the week. Our rate for during this period of time is $50. They can pay for this fee at the beginning of the session as you have your own internal systems. You do not need right now to sign an ABN in order to charge that patient cash. No, G2012 does not pay more than G2063. Okay, so let me show you here. And I'm going to talk only about NGS Medicare, National Government Services in New York for region 02. This code reimburses somewhere around $15, but this is happening one time. And this is not a scheduled meeting. Of course, if you do a scheduled meeting, you are going to bill the 2063, which in New York pays about $35. This is a therapist calling to see how is the patient doing. It doesn't even need video. It can be just a phone call, okay? It can last only 5-6 minutes. Still, you can bill for it. All right. So, and we have put on our website an area, let me see, where people can go under what I'm looking for here, and they can click pay my bill, and you know, we have already plugged in the pricing, which is for an e-visit $50. Okay, so and once they do it, the money goes straight into the account. I know it looks all jumbled up now in my screen. I don't know why, but okay. So that's the story with Medicare. And that is our strategy. I gave you what our strategy is right now with Medicare patients. Any other questions about anything? Now, bear in mind, as I mentioned, next week, next Thursday, yes, we are not going to have as I mentioned initially, I said we were going to start from this Thursday and for 8 consecutive Thursdays, the Road to Recovery series. But because of everything happening right now with the loans and all that, we had to do this. There's a lot of anxiety on people. So we had to do this. And also, next Thursday, we are going to have with us from APTA, the Director of the Government Affairs, who will discuss specifically Medicare, the efforts that have been done, and what they are doing right now and will be doing. All right. Let me see if there are any questions on Facebook. All right, no more questions on Facebook. Is there any other question with you guys? All right, so hang in there. Wait until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Check the news at 3:15. See what the Senate will say, if they will renew the money, and we'll take it from there. Look, there is no way that they're not going to renew the money. Otherwise, I'll file application as a candidate for President of the United States for November, even if I don't qualify since I was not born in this country, but whatever, still will change the Constitution. Anyhow, we'll be okay. I believe we'll be okay. All right, guys. Take care, everyone, and see you next week.